Okay, 6th graders, welcome to Living Room Production Season 1, Episode 3, Part 2. In this episode, we're going to be talking more about linking verbs and subject completers, but this time we're going to be diagramming this kind of sentence. Diagramming, as I've said before, really helps you see things. It helps you see the sentence. It's called a graphic organizer. And that means that you can see how you're organizing the sentence. Okay? I'm going to start out with this sentence. It is, Fraidy was a cautious kitten. When you come to a sentence with a linking verb, you treat it the same way you do all sentences. You start to figure out the parts of the sentence. You have to ask the important questions. So, first of all, the first question you ask is what? Do you remember? Remember what it is? What you need to ask is, what's happening? What's happening in the sentence? And though there's not going to be an action with a linking verb, it will tell you what's happening. The answer is was. Okay? You always put was on this side of the fishing line, and you make sure that it's on top of the water. It's an important part of the sentence. It's the core of the sentence. The subject and the verb are the core of the sentence. So you make sure that they're floating on the water. Then you ask who was, who or what was, and the answer will be the subject. This is the verb, and the answer to what was will be the subject. Fraidy is the subject of the sentence, so we put it here on this side of the fishing line. On the left side, it comes first on the water. And then you ask this: Fraidy was what? Okay, the linking verb. This is a linking verb. Sorry. The function of a linking verb, the reason for it, is because it links the subject to something that completes the meaning of the subject. You can't just say Fraidy was. Leaves you hanging. It's not complete. You need a subject completer when you're using a linking verb. So Fraidy was what? Fraidy was kitten. Kitten is the subject completer. Okay? It makes sense then. The sentence makes sense when you have a subject completer with a linking verb. Fraidy was kitten. Well, where are we going to put it on the line? Where are we going to put it on the water? The subject completer goes here like the direct object does, but the line that separates it from the verb is different. It's a slanting line. Can you think of why it would be slanting? Why the dudes who created diagramming would have had that line slanting? Think of any reasons? Why not straight again? Well, for one thing, you would think it was a direct object, wouldn't you? For another thing, it indicates that this really needs to get back to it's related to something previous. It's related to the subject. And to be honest, in the linking verb is like an equal sign. They're equal to each other. This is equal to this. And you can switch them around. Kitten was Fraidy. Fraidy was kitten. Kitten was Fraidy. They're equally balanced there. So this is a slanting line showing that it needs to go get back over to the subject. And in my little analogy here, or extended metaphor for the, diagramming, if this is the water and this is a fishing line, what would you call that? I'm calling it a ski ramp. Will you go with me on that? Because the word needs to go jumping up, the idea of the word needs to go jumping up the ski ramp and over. this is totally Lunaese. I don't think you'll find this these definitions anywhere else. But if it helps you, please think of that as a ski ramp. And the reason it's there is to help the meaning of the word get back, because those are equal. All right? Another thing I want to point out is that in this case, kitten is kitten a person, place, thing, or idea? Of course it is. What does that make it? What part of speech does that make it? A noun. If you were thinking that, you were right. It's a noun. So a subject completer can be a noun that is just another name for something, all right? You've got some other words in here, and I want to talk about them too. A is an article. A, kitten. It's a type of adjective, very small adjective. A, and the are articles, and the place that you put them is under the word that they modify or that they talk about. It's a kitten. It belongs to kitten. It goes there. What about cautious? What questions does cautious answer? Does it say how, where, when, to what extent? How? No. When? No. Where? No. To what extent? No. It answers which one or what kind. It's a cautious kitten. It's what kind of kitten. That makes it an adjective. Okay? How, when, where, to what extent are adverb questions. Which one, what kind, how many, how much, those are adjective questions. And what word does it tell you more about? Obviously, it tells you what kind of a kitten he was. So we're going to put it under kitten. Adjectives and adverbs don't float, guys. They are not the core of the sentence. Fraidy was kitten is the core of the sentence, and that floats. But a and cautious are adjective types, and they come underneath the word that they describe. Okay, here's another sentence. He is very circumspect. Remember I told you what circumspect means. It means it's pretty much cautious. It means that you're constantly looking around you, and look. It's a Greek and Latin root word, and one we focus on in some of my classes. And so Fraidy is that. He is constantly, before he goes out the door, he goes to the door and smells the air, sees, uses that kind of seeing, that sense to see what's out there before he goes. He watches around him. He's very, 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 very circumspect. So let's talk about this. We're going to first draw the line and talk through it as we diagram it. Every diagram needs the basic water line and a fishing line. It's your first step every time you diagram anything, okay? So then you ask the question, the first sentence investigation question, which is, what's happening? The answer is nothing. Not really, nothing's happening, but there is a state of being. Something is. It's a form of the be word, and it is, it's here. So we say, we put it where we put all verbs, to the right of the fishing line. And then you say, who is? And the answer is the pronoun he. He is the subject of the sentence. Then you ask, he is what? The question you ask for the subject completer is the same question you ask for the direct object. He is what? You use the subject and the verb and ask that question. He is what? The answer to that question is circumspect. He is circumspect. Okay, what kind of line are you going to put here? Do you remember? Okay, of course. It is a slanty line, which is a ski ramp, and the reason it is a ski ramp is because circumspect describes he, They are equals, and to remind you of that, you need to put a slanty line so it can get back. What about vary? Oh, before I do that, circumspect, the word circumspect, what part of speech is it? Is it a noun? Is circumspect a thing? Is it a person? Is it a place? Is it a... It is not. It is not a noun. Do you know what it is? Do you know what part of speech it is? It answers the question, which one, what kind. It says what kind he is. Okay? It is a describer word. And it modifies nouns and pronouns. Do you know what it is yet? What kind of cat? What kind of he? It's an adjective. Okay? It's an adjective. So both nouns, like kitten, and verb, excuse me, sorry about that. Hope that doesn't ruin your learning for the rest of your life. And adjectives can be subject completers. They can complete. They can follow a linking verb and complete the meaning of the sentence. Remember, you wouldn't just say, he is. Nope. Won't work. Doesn't make sense. It's not complete. Your brain needs a completer. So the subject completer does that job. It can be either an adjective or a noun. What do I do with vary? How many of you know, I wonder, wish I could take a little poll right now and figure out how many of you know what part of speech vary is? Ask questions then. Does it answer the questions, which one, what kind, how many, how much? If it did, it would be an adjective. But it doesn't. The question it answers is to what extent. What part of speech answers that kind of question? To what extent? An adverb. Adverbs tell more about verbs, but they also tell more about adjectives. It says to what extent he was circumspect. So you put it under circumspect because it tells you more about it. Okay? I'm going to go through these next two a little bit more quickly. Fraidy will be a happy old-timer. The water, the fishing line. What's happening? We're going to put the helping verb on the line with the be verb. Will be with the linking verb. Will be. Who will be? Fraidy cat. Fraidy cat will be what? Do you know? Old-timer. Old-timer is a hyphenated word and it works together. And what kind of division will be here? Will be old-timer? A slanty line, which is our ski ramp. What do I do with a? That's an article, remember? Goes underneath. What do I do with happy? Well, what question does it answer? It answers what kind of old-timer, and so it's an adjective. And we put it under here. Okay? Down here. The water. The fishing line. And you ask, what's happening? Not much, but you do have a state of being. Am. Who am? I am. I am what? I am glad. I don't know if your pet means much to you, but our Fraidy cat means a lot to us, and we are glad that he will live to a ripe old age and be a happy cat. And I don't think he's going to be much of a curmudgeon. So, what do I do with so? What does it answer? Well, what is glad? Let's ask that first. Is it a noun? Is it a person, place, thing, or idea? Or does it answer what kind of person I am. I am what? I am glad. Says what kind. So that's an adjective. And so says to what extent I am glad. I am so glad. And I'm glad that you're my student and that you're with me through this learning process. And I hope that you're doing well, and see you in school. Bye.